Fears of deportation and raids here in the U.S. are causing an economic crisis for many south of the border. According to numbers provided by Tom Fullerton, UTEP professor and chair for the study of trade in the Americas, remittance transfers to Mexico are down almost 15% compared to this time last year. And in a story you'll only see on ABC 7, I traveled to a mountainous town in central Mexico where people are telling me just how difficult it's been without receiving as much money from their family members here in the United States. Casilda Martinez Resendiz walks in front of her modest home in the mountainous town of Cadereyta de Montes in the Mexican state of Querétaro. Many in this largely indigenous town with ties to the Otomi culture can't even afford a front door to their home. Here, Casilda walks through a hanging blanket where a door would normally be. A telling reflection of her poverty and just how important it is to receive remittance from her son and daughter.
También ya se me recortó mucho la ayuda.
Casilda tells me her family members living in the USA have cut much of the help she normally receives, sending back much less money, which she relies on. Casilda's son, Noé, and daughter, Marisela, have lived in Oregon as undocumented immigrants for almost 2 decades. Casilda tells me if they were to get deported, there'd be no more assistance sent, and it would affect her life drastically. And at this time, because of fears of deportation, they've been avoiding work, thus having less money to send back to Mexico. Here, Casilda shows me a picture of one of her grandchildren, Jose Guadalupe, who was born in the United States, and fears if her family gets deported, it'll be devastating, since all her grandkids know is Oregon and the USA.
¿Qué tanta preocupación tiene por sus nietos? How much are you worried about your grandkids who were born in the United States but have never lived here in Mexico?
Pensar sobre todo en mis nietos.
I think about everything with my grandkids, says Casilda, and they're already accustomed to living in the United States with a certain way of life. If they had to reside here in Mexico, it'd be very sad for them. Casilda continued to open up to me, saying,
Es que es otra cultura la de allá.
It's a different culture in Oregon, and it'd be tough for them here. The kids shouldn't be given any of the blame for what's happening.
Los niños no tienen la culpa.
In many ways, it's ironic that it happens to be raining on the actual day that I'm shooting this story here in the mountains of Querétaro, Mexico, because many of the people that I talk to say that they literally now have to set up a rainy day fund, if you will, to plan for the future, to plan for the inevitable. If that money that's sent from the United States here to this pueblo and beyond stops coming. In fact, Doña Casilda tells me that she estimates about 50% of the males born in this very town end up migrating to the United States to look for work out of necessity.
Porque saben que aquí no hay tanta oportunidad.
A 15-minute drive away is the town of Mojnasi.
Es un nombre pronunciado en Otomí.
Where I met with the former elected official Guadalupe Martinez.
Explícame qué tanta tiene la dependencia de la plata que viene de los Estados Unidos aquí a este pueblo indígena Otomí.
When asked about how important it is for residents of this indigenous pueblo to receive money sent from family members, Guadalupe told me,
Bastante importancia.
It's very important the amount of remittance coming to our pueblo. Many couldn't survive without it. We're talking thousands of dollars a year.
Some other people are going to send less money.
Tom Fullerton, UTEP professor of economics and finance, says communities like these in Mexico have depended on remittance for decades and will continue to suffer.
Whenever there is a cell phone notification that ICE is conducting raids or ICE is patrolling the streets, they just elect to remain home.
According to BBVA research, there are about 12 million Mexican nationals living abroad, with 97% here in the United States. And last year, Mexicans living in the United States sent a record $63.2 billion home in remittances.
Have that many workers in the United States sending home that volume of money represents a huge portion of their balance of payments every year, and that's why it's so important, especially in those low-income communities.
And back in Cadereyta de Montes, at the popular restaurant El Jardín de los Sabores, kitchen worker Ángeles Hernández got a bit emotional.
Pues sí, un poco difícil la situación.
The situation is a bit difficult right now, she says, and her family members in the USA are scared to go outside and head to work because of recent raids.
Por el miedo a salir.
How difficult has it been for you lately not receiving that money from the United States from family members? ¿Qué tanto difícil ha sido para ti y para tu familia ya que no están recibiendo la misma plata aquí?
Pues sí, es muy difícil.
Angeles tells me it's very difficult to even pay bills like the rent, electricity, and water.
Es el agua.
And just down the rainy, river-like road, a reiteration of reality for residents of this community.
Aquí no hay trabajo.
There's no work here, Casilda told me. If deported, my children would have to find jobs in the big cities of the state capital of Querétaro or Mexico City.
Querétaro, a México.
As Casilda feels she can only pray that these rainy days turn into a brighter future for her family abroad and at her humble home here in Mexico, hoping the rain can wash away her worries and she can say adios to her family fears. UTEP professor Tom Fullerton also reiterated to me that the Senate version of the One Big Beautiful Bill includes a 1% tax on international cash transfers, calling it a remittance tax. He and other experts say this will also have a major impact on immigrants working right here in the United States.
In the meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security has issued this statement, quote, "If you are here illegally, self-deportation is the best, safest, and most cost-effective way to leave the United States to avoid arrest," end quote. And deportations will continue, of course. And Paul, you were telling me when you came back from this trip that you actually stumbled upon this story and you're like, I have to cover this. It's such a huge impact.
No, definitely so. I mean, I was actually hiking in that region. It's the Otomi indigenous region of Mexico, which is Querétaro and Hidalgo. And I have some friends in Querétaro, and I'd mentioned to them, hey, you know what, while I'm here, the journalism bug always takes over when I'm on vacation. And I said, this would be a great story for me to work on. Luckily, in the small town in the area that I went to in the mountains, in the indigenous mountains of Querétaro, I was able to get a lot of people to talk to me and open up.
Yeah, one story impacting a lot of families.
No,
Well,
I
great
appreciate
work.
it. No, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, we're also following the big news